Committee of the whole meeting to order. Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Trustee Brewer. Here. Trustee Grant. Here. Trustee Jones. Trustee Tate. Trustee Todd. Here. Trustee Zupan. Here.
I'll entertain a motion to recess to executive session. Discussion of personnel matters, employment and compensation, updated opinion litigation, collective bargaining matters in real estate, or review of minutes from executive or closed session. Meetings as needed.
Second.
Moved by Trustee Brewer, second by Trustee Todd. Any questions? Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Brewer. Yes. Trustee Grant. Yes. Trustee Jones. Trustee Tate. Trustee Todd. Yes. Trustee Zupan. Yes.
Motion is carried. We'll be back. I'll accept the motion to reconvene.
Second.
Moved by Trustee Brewer, second by Trustee Todd. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Brewer. Yes. Grant. Yes. Jones.
Yes.
Tate. Todd. Yes. Zupan. Yes.
Okay, motion is carried. Item 1, village board procedures. Okay, what I wanted everyone to understand, and this is for the board, when you have questions for anybody and they're giving a report, I would like for you to recognize the chairman first, rather than just blurt it out or ask questions. The proper procedure would be to Mayor or President or whoever the person is, to get a direction from the person that's running the meeting first, rather than just ask questions, because that'll stop a lot of that back and forth. So, and that's something that we all know, but sometimes we don't practice it. So, just wanted to bring that part up. So, the next item. Is the Development Incentive Policy update from Economic Director, Mr. Woodswhite. Please, do we have a microphone?
I'll be very brief. We've already went over all of the information that's in here already, so there's no sense in rehashing it. I did make the corrections that were suggested by Trustee Zupan at the last committee meeting.
Mike.
The suggestion that she made was that instead of may, it should be shall, so that was corrected. Any other suggestions or corrections or changes that the board would like, just please let me know. I would like to have this for the next board meeting for approval. If anyone has any questions or issues with this, please let me know before that.
Any questions?
So you want this on the agenda for next Tuesday?
Correct. That's all I have.
Any questions? Thank you. Okay, next up is Community Resources. Madam Clerk?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I have a couple of things that I would like to bring to the board this evening. Only one that will require a vote next week, possibly, depending on how you feel about it. And the others are just to get your feedback and everything. First one is dealing with transportation. You know, during the Christmas cheer, it really came to mind that a number of our residents really do not have transportation. and they are dependent upon others. And there are a number of resources that I don't know how well we are promoting or getting the word out so that residents would know about some transportation activities that they could take part in. And even though the very first one I'm talking about is Senior Wheels, know that I'm only bringing that one up first simply because I met with Bloom Township because they have a ADA program. So overall, what I'm talking about where transportation is concerned would be for people with disabilities, but as I'm doing my research, I am finding that there are opportunities for seniors as well. So I would really, let me just go on through. Another option would go through PACE, where we would be the broker and or say seller of some of the ADA service tickets. These tickets would be strictly for individuals with disabilities of any age. It could be for parents of a child with a disability. It could be a teenager going to school that has a disability, or it can be an adult or a senior. And how that program would work is that the village would place an order for, say, 10 booklets. The booklets are $32.50 a ride. And so we would obligate for $325. We would sell the booklets to the residents, and then we would, get that money back to the PACE. There is no financial incentives in this process. It is strictly a service to our residents. And so that's something that I would like for us to look at and maybe think about. Another one, though, is still just providing the information. RTA has a program for those who qualify for the circuit breaker program. And I just think that we just need to get that information out, as I said, to our residents so that they will know what's going on. Maybe their daughters or their sons or other family members will read about it, on our Facebook page and or in the emails if they're not associated with the e-blast system, just so that, they are informed. I think that we owe that to our residents. The next thing that I wanted to talk to you about is the calendar. Many of you have seen this calendar hanging by the trustee area. And I mentioned it very briefly the other day, and I just wanted to clarify just a little bit more today so that we are utilizing it to the best of our ability. This calendar here is designed to increase communication and to avoid conflict in meeting space. You guys are getting very, very busy, as well as the administration is very busy also with meeting with people. And so we really need to start scheduling space. And we, as I see it, we have 5 different spaces. We have this area here, which seems to be the most favored location. We have a conference room A, a conference room B. We have the executive conference room, the one that we just left out of. And then we also have the senior center. And so on the side in the notes, it has the little key code for that. But then what I would ask that you do is to look at each of the boxes, like say January the 11th is a box. Divide that box into 3. The top, the middle, and the bottom of the box. The top being an AM meeting, the middle being an afternoon meeting, and the bottom being an evening meeting, and that's where you would place your meeting that you're going to have. And if at all possible, give the committee that's going to be meeting your location for certain, and if you can squeeze your initials or your name in there, please do that as well. One thing that I will say, when you have a meeting in the rotunda where we are now, I am going to ask that you leave the room, the space, as you found it, and/or if you care to do a wonderful favor for me to keep me from moving these heavy chairs, is if you know coming up is a board meeting, move the tables all the way back. If you know, though, that we're coming up to a committee of the whole meeting, it's okay to leave the room like this. But I don't think that it's for me to be the one moving the tables and the chairs back and forth as you use this space. So I'm going to very kindly ask that you assist me, because I am getting a little old and my back sort of hurts a little bit from time to time. The next thing I want to talk about is another resource for residents, and that's looking at really working with the Cook County Clerk's Office to a greater degree. And that is looking at the vital statistics that so often our residents have to go to Markham and or downtown to access. And if we had simple applications where they can complete them here, then they can send their money off, and or they can mail them right from here, I think that would be an asset to them as well. No cost to us, no financial benefits to us. It's just still providing a resource. The type of things we could assist them with would be birth records, death records, and other vital records agency information, because different clerk offices provide different levels of service. And so sometimes people just need to know where and how to access that type of information. Another thing I want to talk to you guys about is your statement of economic interest. It's just about that time, and some of us are new, and I know that you are familiar with completing it because you did so, each of us, when we ran for office, and then those of you who are veterans on the board, you had to do it last year. Know that I have to submit a list to the county's office with any and everyone that is responsible for completing the Statement of Economic Interest form. After that, I am removed out of the process, and they will communicate with each of you individually. And it's up to you to complete that document and get it back into them. Even though in a lot of instances you're going to have DNA, meaning does not apply all the way down, you still have to get that document in. And they started asking for the list now. You're going to have until May 1st to get it in. If it's not in by May 1st, you will be fined $15, and then they move up from there. So I know 15 may not be a lot for a lot of you, but let's try to avoid it, and let's have 100% compliance. The last thing I would like for us to consider, and this is definitely not anything that we would decide today, and I'm definitely not asking for it to be on the agenda for next week, but I'm just asking you to think. We talked a little bit about it just a few minutes ago in exec board, but now what I would like for you to consider is how you receive your documents for the meetings. In a number of organizations, a number of villages, and definitely a lot of school boards, they use a program called Board Docs, and then there's another one also that began with board that I talked with when I was at IML. And those are costly. Those programs are usually $2,000 to $5,000, where all of your documents are loaded into this program. And then when you're ready for it at the time of your meeting, you would then just go to it, and you would have a choice of downloading it and printing it yourself, and or just bringing your laptop and reviewing your documents that way. I'm not asking for us to do board docs or anything along that line. What I'm asking for your consideration is to just think about how you could manage if I was to download all of our handouts, and I would do it according to the agenda items, just as I put your packets together now. I would put them in separate folders, so when you look at agenda item 4, everything that goes with agenda item 4 will be under agenda item, a document that says agenda item 4. Likewise, you know, we usually do 7 and 8 and 9 and 11. You would have like a folder with each one of those categories, and all of your documents would be there. I'm thinking that that will save a lot of paper, because we do spend quite a bit on copying as well as the use of the copy machine, but more so than anything, you won't have to come out every Friday to pick up your packets, because it's going to be delivered to you for you to review and look at your leisure. But then also, it's just using advanced technology, which I embrace, and I'm certain many of you do as well. That completes my report.
I have a question as far as the economic interest website. Did you let them know where they can go?
I've not been given that information. As I said, I turn in their names and their information. Then the next step is that organization contacts them and will give them their directions in terms of what they're supposed to do.
It should be on the David Orr's office.
I'm sharing with you what was stated to me, and I'm certain there is, but I'm not certain. See, each one of them will be assigned a separate number. Some of you have numbers from before, and your numbers won't change as you're signing on or doing whatever.
Mine change every year because I forget that.
Oh, okay.
What I'm saying is, there's a website.
Yes, but see, they have to.
Mr. Mayor, if I may. If I recall correctly, only because I've had to do for commissions I've been on in the past, we receive an email from the Cook County clerk with a link within the email that takes you right to where you need to go to complete the form. So I'm assuming that you've got to include email addresses.
I have to give all of your contact information. Yes, your phone number, your email, and naturally I would use this email. And I'm not certain if I also have to even include your home addresses. So I have some of your home addresses, but not all of your home addresses. So if you would share that with me, I would appreciate it, because I do have to get that information over to them.
Okay. Thank you. Next on the agenda, Trustee Linda Todd. She needs the light. I don't want nobody screaming.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The reason I wanted to be on the agenda was I had talked probably, I don't know if it was even a month ago, and one of the things is with our meetings and how much we're spending per year. And I really think that we need to start with cost savings with us. Sometimes we may not need 4 meetings. Other communities can do it in 2 meetings. And when I was looking at the figures, we spend probably, and we're going to say 4 meetings a month for a year. This doesn't even include our committee meetings that we have for our own individual committees. But you're looking at like $36,000 a year. Now sometimes these meetings are canceled, so we're not going to get paid, of course. But I really think that we need to look at a cost savings if we were to only go down to 2 meetings a month. Now there might be times you're going to need special meetings. We're going to need it at budget time, that you do it on a Saturday. But overall, I think we can save. I was looking at maybe $16,000 a year. And that's just what we get paid. But we're doing $36,000 a year. So I really think it should begin. My thing was, and I've thought about this even in the past administration, why don't you go down to 2 meetings a month? Try to save the village some money. We're always looking at ways to save money. So I just wanted to throw that out there, that if you do careful planning, you could do 2 meetings a month. One of the other things is have a committee on the whole, like at 6 o'clock, and at 7 o'clock do your board meeting. Discuss what you need to discuss, and then go into a board meeting and you can vote on it. but it's just something that I wanted to bring to the board. And that ends it.
Thank you. That's something that I definitely will take into consideration, because I'm not going to have meetings that are not necessary. That's one thing. If you don't have anything on the agenda, and if the clerk hasn't got anything by Friday, we'll put it out there that there won't be a meeting. So just wanted to let you know that that's a good idea, and I appreciate that. Okay. We're going to public comment. All questions and comments shall be directed to the mayor. Each speaker may comment on any matter pertaining to the business of Sauk Village. Each speaker is allowed one opportunity to speak for up to 3 minutes and may not engage in debate. I see a microphone up there. I don't see anybody coming up there, so we may not need a microphone. Okay, that being said, we'll go to the general comments. We'll start with Trustee Brewer.
Okay, Mr. Mayor.
Need a mic, you know they don't.
Mr. Mayor, the CETA program is going to start at the Senior Center on January 22nd, and they have a second date of January 29th from 9 to 12. You have to bring some ID. Picture ID.
I didn't hear what you said. They're going to start what?
Their program starting January 22nd
The seniors.
in the Senior Center from 9.
Oh, you said CETA. Okay, you said seniors. Okay, I didn't
Did
hear
I say
CETA.
senior? I
Yeah.
said CETA. Okay.
Oh, CETA. Oh, say CETA.
CETA
sorry.
program will start January 22nd.
Okay.
9 to 12, bring in ID. They're taking applications from not only Sauk Village residents, but residents all over. All you need is a picture ID and a utility bill for gas and light. They have a second session on January 29th, and we'll see how that goes, because evidently they're gonna have at least twice a month where they have residents come in. They have other programs that we're talking about right now, so Mr. Farmer didn't come tonight, so I want to make sure that's out there, because the 22nd is right around the corner, and I want to make sure the word is out that bring your information to the senior center, and you get an application and they'll do whatever. There are some flyers on the front desk up there. I'm going to put some in the library tomorrow, or even Mr. Farmer's going to put there in the library tomorrow. But hopefully we'll get off to a good start with that, and people know to come to the senior center, to give out that information, and they can tell you what they need to do, what they need to have for the day.
That's 9 in the morning to 12, right?
9 to 12 on January 22nd and January 29th.
Same time?
9 to 12, yes. And the second thing about the senior center is that we have a form at the front desk you can get if you want your event scheduled for the senior center, even though it might be village-wide, we need to know that you want that particular date. So out of courtesy to the senior center, if you would fill out the form so we could add it to our calendar, and so people would know that this particular date has been, scheduled for whatever village-wide event that's coming up.
Are you saying village-wide or village-sponsored? Which one?
Village-wide, village-sponsored,
There's a
whatever.
difference.
Village-sponsored event.
Okay, because village-wide
So
is,
there's a form that you can pick up at the front desk if I'm asking for Mr. Farmer a box, but please, if you can send me an email, I'll make sure he gets the information and we can add it to the calendar, because the senior center might have some events scheduled that day, or something might be going on that day. We don't know, we just can't,
does the seniors have a box? I thought they did.
I don't know, they have a box, I've been getting all the info.
Okay, they should, we'll make sure the
Mhm.
senior advisory council, correct? That's what they're.
Yes.
That they have a box.
Okay.
Yes.
But Mr. Farmer still doesn't come every day, so generally I'll take the stuff and send
But at least we
them
know
a
where to, how to
email
send
to
it.
them.
We know
Yeah.
how.
So I'm just hoping that you please fill out the form, so we won't have conflict in schedule, so people will know who's using what, when, and where, for who. The senior center have a mail tray. A mail what?
They have a tray.
Mm-hmm.
It says sitting on it, and you put, they offer the senior center, and one of those light trays, you're like 2 or 3
on the countertop,
Mm-hmm.
and yours is charged with that.
We're gonna have to label.
Okay, well, still, you know, the important thing is to make sure the form is filled out, and we put it in the proper tray, so we put it on the monthly schedule.
Yeah, I'm just saying, because you're gonna make sure you should have something that's designated, just like the trustees have their own mail slot,
Mhm.
they should have something designated for it, see.
And that's the end of my comment.
Trustee Zupan?
I just had a question, trustee Brewer. I know that Director Vavrick had sent you a request several months back about a meeting in May,
Mhm.
and the requesting the use of the senior center. Has that been reserved for him?
He's gonna get a letter. You know, once we get the form, we send everybody, say, okay, this date is fine, and you're scheduled for this date.
Okay, but did you let him know that he needs to give you a form? Because he
Oh, yeah,
sent
he
you a
knows.
request
Yeah,
ages ago.
yeah, I talked to him, he knows, yeah, because we just developed the form once the
Yeah, it was
policies
after.
procedures were established. So he knows, and he has submitted his form along with the other 4 groups who have started in the senior center. So everybody has filled out the form, and they have the schedule, and we'll hopefully have a calendar up for next month.
Okay, so then, the other things I had then, if I may please, is just to make sure that I suggest to you that you get
Microphone.
up on the board at 394 about the CETA program.
It's up there, I already put a request.
Okay, and then also to get with the clerk to get it on the Sauk Village e-news
That's already
and the
taken
Facebook
care
page.
of. It's gonna be taken care of.
Okay. And then lastly, I had a question with this calendar, the senior center, you had that on there too, but is that really appropriate to have that on there if they're running their own calendar?
The reason why it was put on there is because there are instances where someone in administration has booked the senior center. So it was suggested that I do. I'm open, I'm open, I'm open, whatever you think is best, however you think it should be handled. But as I said, the senior center is located on the right.
All right, just asking, because
Right.
why put it in both places
And
is-
let me know.
The thought is that the senior center, the committee has their own form, and if you need to use the senior center for the village event, that they fill out the form for the senior center, so it can run across the council.
Okay, so I guess I would ask, is the business after hours?
That's been scheduled, I think, the economic development person had already talked to Mr. Palmer, and it's been scheduled for the January 25th or something in the evening, or whatever day it is, you know, so it's on the calendar there. And what we propose to do is we'll have a calendar right outside of the senior center, so you would know.
So would you rather that they not put the senior center activities on this?
Yeah, because you were in the back, we need something right up there in the senior center, and we need that form from Joe.